The Sea Peoples and the Philistines. Episode 1. The Danuna by Tara Sulima. Based on New Kingdom Egyptian text, the Danuna are considered one of the major groups of the Sea Peoples. The Danuna are known from Egyptian, Hittite, and classical sources. In the historical sources, the Danuna are known by many different names, such as Denyen, Danunites, Danaoi, Danaus, Danaids, Dene, Danai, Danaian. The earliest Egyptian text is the El Amarna letters, mid-14th century BCE, which tells of Pharaoh Amenhotep IV's vassal, the king of the Phoenician city of Tyre, Abimilki. The El Amarna letter tells of the king of Danuna's death, and that his brother became king and his land is at peace. The Danuna next appeared during the reign of Ramses III, 8th year in 1188 BCE, at his mortuary temple of Medinet Habu. The relief tells that there was a confederation of Philistines, Chekar, Shelalesh, Denyen, and Weshesh that united to attack Egypt. The other text that is dated to the end of Ramses III's reign, in about 1164 BCE, is the Papyrus Harris. Ramses himself tells us his victory over the Sea Peoples. I slew the Denyen in their islands, while the Chekar and the Philistines were made ashes. The Sherdon and the Weshesh of the sea were non-existent, captured altogether, and brought in captivity to Egypt like the sands of the shore. The final Egyptian text that is associated with the Danuna is the Onomasticon of Amenhotep. Amenhotep apparently lived during the 20th dynasty. The text itself dates to the 22nd dynasty. The text mentions the Dene, and Gardiner suggests identifying the Dene with the Danuna, or Danaoi, that may refer to a tribe living in the plain of Argos. Besides Egyptian texts, there are Hittite and classical sources that mention the Danuna. The 8th century BCE bilingual inscription from Karatepe tells how King Azitwada expanded the plain of Adana and restored his people, the Danunites. The classical source that mentioned the Danuna is an aspect of Greek mythology where Egypt played an important part in the story of the wanderings of Io and the tragedy of her descendants, the Danaids. There are several theories on where the Danuna came from. 1. Eastern Cilicia. 2. Mycenae. 3. Canaan. The first theory is that the Danuna came from Cilicia is based on the name of Adana, a city in the eastern part of Cilicia, under the name Adania, which was named by Telepenus, whose reign is now dated at 1525 to 1500 BCE. According to Barnett, the Danuna lives in Cilicia in the 9th century BCE, and caused alarm to their neighbors Amanus, Kalamu of Samal. Not only the Danuna of El Amarna, but the Din of the Egyptian sources as well were the inhabitants of the Cilician Adana, without any connection with Greece. The islands where Ramses III situated the Danuna were tiny islets and capes of the Cilician coast. The Danuna are also known from the Karatepe inscription, which mentions the legendary Greek hero named Mopsus. Mopsus is said to have found Aspendos, which is identical to the town of Azitwada in Cilicia. The event, according to the Greeks, are supposed to happen after the fall of Troy in 1180 BCE. A second theory, associated with the Greek world, equating the Danuna with the Danaoi from mainland Greece. Many scholars associate the Danuna with the Greeks because all Greeks were referred to as Danans by Homer. The fact that Homer lends the name Danaans to the Greeks is a credible suggestion because the Danaans came from Mycenae. Greek tradition suggests that the Danaoi settled in Argos and were named after the Danaos. The third theory that suggests the Danuna origins come from Canaan. The Danuna and other sea peoples returned to the Levant as a counter-migration. While many of the Danuna went to the Aegean and Mycenae and became known as the Danans. Others went to Asia Minor, and some of the sea peoples returned to the Levant. The Danuna were accepted into the confederation of the tribes of Israel, called Dan. The Danuna were part of a confederation in the Levant with other groups of sea people, especially the Philistines. They were part of the sea battle against the Egyptians, which is depicted on the relief at Medinet Habu. The biblical data shows that at a certain stage of its settlement, the tribe of Dan was very close to the people of the sea. From the historical and mythological sources, it is possible to ascertain the following facts. The tribe of the Danai originated in the east, and the introduction of the alphabet to Greece is attributed to it. Its members were outstanding seamen who had special connection with sun worship. The association with the tribe of Dan is because there were two different tribes, the Danaids and the Danai, with identical names and similar characteristics, which operated in the same geographical region and period. Or there is a link between the tribe of Dan and the tribe of Danai, and possibly a certain measure of identity. In conclusion, although the Danuna are known from many different sources, they were a major part of the confederation that attacked Egypt with the other group of sea people. The origins of the Danuna are many and very unclear. I see the Danuna coming from the island Cilicia, because many of the texts are from that region. The Danuna were outstanding seamen and warriors.